Okay, hello again. This is GB Bello, and you are welcome to my studio. Remember that we have been drawing pattern for our male tunic, your senator. The last video, I actually taught you how to draw your front pattern and your back pattern. Now the next is sleeve, because your clothes must have sleeve. I hope you have tried it out. All right, now let me just go straight to the pattern for the sleeve. I've had so many people telling me I used to have issues with drawing my sleeve. When I was in the fashion school too, I had same issue. But now I'm going to simplify it for you, that you'll be like, is it this simple? Yes, it's going to be this simple. Now for my sample measurement, I'm going to need my hammer, I'm going to need my sleeve length. We are doing a short sleeve, and I'm also going to need my round sleeve measurement. Now remember, you are going to do some calculations. For your armhole, you divide it into 2. My own, for the sample measurement, the armhole is 18 divided by 2, that will be 9. My round sleeve is 16 inches divided by 2, that will be 8. Then my sleeve length, I'm using it like that, it's 11. Now come on, let's start. Now the first thing is to put your pattern paper on fold. I said you fold it, then you start from your folded part. This is my folded part. Now the upper part here is my point A. So the first thing I'm going to do is to measure 0.5 inch from my point A to end at point B. Then I'm going to rule that place. I'm going to rule across my point B. Fine. Now what is next? From my point B, I will measure my sleeve length, which is 11 inches. It ended here, and that is my point C. Point C, my sleeve length. Then at my point C also, I'm going to measure 3.5 inch hemming allowance. That's the one I will use to fold the base. So 3.5 inch here. Then it ended at point D. So I'm going to rule across my point C. I will also rule across my point D. I hope you are following. It is very simple. Just follow these simple steps. Now I'm done with that. Now I'm coming back to my point B. From my point B, I'm going to measure 3.5 inch downward. It is standard. Use the same 3.5 inch for your home. Point B. So 3.5, it ends here, so I call the place point E. So I'm going to rule across my point E2. Please make sure you follow. Okay, so I've ruled across my point E2. Now from my point E, I'm going to measure my armhole divided by 2. Armhole divided by 2, for this sample measurement, armhole is 18, divided by 2, that will be 9. So I'm measuring my 9, it ended at here, and that's my point F. Then from my point F, I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance. It ended here. That is my point G. Now, at my point G, I can rule a line to make a block. It's just for me to have a block. So now, what's the next thing? From my point E to G, E here to G, I'm going to find the midpoint. Remember, on my home point here, I measure my armhole divided by 2, which is 9. The total measurement here is 9 plus 1. My armhole divided by 2, which is 9, plus 1 is sewing allowance, which is 10. So I'm going to put, midpoint of 10 is 5, right? So I'm going to put my tape measurement there to find the midpoint, which is going to be 5. So I'm going to call that place point H. I'll rule a line from point H. Just rule a line upward. All right, I rule a line upward like that. Yes, I hope you are seeing this. Or do I need to bring? Yes, let me bring it closer. All right, so fine. Okay, so then I'm also going to slant a line from my point G here to point A. Note the intersection, the point at which my slanted line G met with line H. So I'm going to call that point I. Are you getting it? So now from my point line A to I, I'm going to find the midpoint of it. So let me see what is there. So the midpoint of it will be here. So at that point, I'm going to measure 0.5 inch upward. 0.5 inch upward ended here. I hope you are seeing it. Let me bring my camera closer again, because I don't want you to miss anything. All right, it ended there. Now again, my point line G to high, I'm going to find the midpoint. Let me use my ruler. It's going to be somewhere here. Then I will measure 0.5 inch downward. Fine. Note the upward 0.5 here. Note the downward 0.5 here. So this is the upper part of the slope, this is lower part of the slope. Then I will just use my curve from point G. Very good. Then somebody said, GB, you are actually plotting a graph. Yes, so we are plotting a graph. Yes, so you can see the slope from point A to intersection high to the 0.5 inch that is down, F to G. Point A to the 0.5 inch that was measured upward to intersection high, to 0.5 inch that was measured downward to F, then to H, to G. See? So, fine. Now the next thing now, I'm coming to my point C, and I'll measure my round sleeve divided by 2. So, C, round sleeve is 16 for my sample measurement divided by 2. That will be 8 inches. So then I'll also add 1 inch to the front of it for my sewing allowance. Now, what is the next thing to do? I'm going to connect the 8 inches to F, to my point F. I'll also connect the 1 inch extra allowance for sewing to my point G. Yes, you can see that the shape, it's already taking place. Now I'm coming to my point D. Remember that at point C, I added a 3.5 inch hemi allowance from C to D. So at this point also, it's the same thing, 3.5 inch hemi allowance. I'm just going to draw a line down. Draw a line down. Then I'll measure 1.5 inch at its front, 1.5. From here, measure 1.5 inch, it ended here, 1.5. This is 3.5. C to D also is 3.5. Here to here also is the same thing as C to D, which is 3.5. So it's only at the front here that I measure 1.5. 1.5. Then I will use my ruler to connect it, to make another slant. And that is just all about your sleeve pattern. Somebody said, GB, is it this simple? Yes, it is this simple. And I'm just going to cut out my sleeve now. Okay, I'm going to cut it out from point B. Now we have cut the front pattern of the tunic. We have cut the back pattern of the tunic. Now the short sleeve that you are going to attach to the armhole is also ready. Make sure you go through this over and over again. You will see that it will also be easy for you to get it. All right. So can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see the slope, the curve? Yes. Can you see it? Can you see it? And that is all about your sleeve pattern. It's very simple. You can see. Very, very simple. So you should go and try it out. The next video, what am I doing next? Well, I'll let you know. So till then, go and cut your male tunic, cut your sleep pattern and go and join it together and sew. See ya.